to the Inside Story. Today I'm joined by not one but two fabulous guests. I have got Andy Price, who is the Chief Creative Officer, and Simon Young, who's the CEO of S Media. Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, good to be on it.
Yeah, good.
I've watched enough of your videos in the past, and it's nice to see us on it now.
Well, the thing is, you never expected to be on one, did you?
Well, no, not really. Never expecting to even start writing a book, and I know it took us an awful long time and a lot of pain. Thanks to you, I know you you ripped it out of me like I felt like a naughty schoolboy at times.
You are, Simon. You are a naughty schoolboy. And when he told me we were writing a book, I wasn't happy at all. No way was I happy about it.
What did you get in your GCSE English, Andrew? Or was it back in the O-level days?
No, I got grade E's at GCSE.
Wow. Did you not do O-levels?
No, I did GCSEs. I think my year was the first year that did GCSEs.
God, now I feel old.
Hence, They gave us all a bonus and we all got better grades than we should have done.
So I should have failed. Should have failed.
Yeah.
Are you making me feel old? Because I did O-levels, so that's not good.
No, you don't look as old as we do.
We know who's weathered better. Yeah.
Needless to say, I got A's in my English, but
what a surprise.
Yeah. So, okay, the book, which behind me here, was out yesterday, which was Thursday. Here we go. Well done. That's what I prepared earlier. All right. So I think I've got to ask you about the title first. So for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, go on, you do it.
What bullshit privacy toasters, videos, and YouTube marketing?
That's
I got
the one.
It right. Hopefully,
you got it right.
Yeah. So how
everyone asks me why we've got toasters in the title, and a toaster is mentioned at one point without giving the plot away, but the Internet of Things. Obviously the fact that a lot of devices are starting to listen to us now, and where things are going to go in the future in terms of how marketing is developed, the AI around it, what Google and Facebook are learning about, all of us on a daily basis. So, the connotation is the fact that maybe your toaster is going to be listening to you at some point.
Which it probably is.
Mm.
Right. So, I mean, the two of you are about as different, I think it's safe to say, as you can possibly get. So we've got Andy, you are the creative, you're the ad guy, you're the one that comes up with all the wacky ideas. Simon, it's safe to say you are the nerd and you're the kind of behind the scenes. We kind of throw peanuts at you every now and again and don't let you speak to clients.
Don't let me out of the cupboard, yeah.
I think to be fair, whilst we are very, very different, I think one of the reasons things work so well between us is that we appreciate and understand what each other does and brings to the party. And actually, I think in today's world, you can't have one without the other, because people, marketers now, whether it's a big brand or a smaller brand, they ain't going to buy into just pure creativity or pure data. You need a bit of everything. And I think Simon and I have got we have got a good understanding, because we've worked on it over the years, to understand what each other's doing. And I think as a business, we've got people who are more like me and people who are like Simon and people in the middle. And I think that's why it works really well. But we do respect what each other does. And, I've spent a lot of time in the industry where, as a creative, I would have hated people like Simon previously. But I think as you mature and you grow up, you realise you do need it.
Yeah.
As a great person, I need Simon. And I'd like to think Simon thinks he needs me sometimes.
Probably not, Simon.
Yeah. Oh, especially when you make me go and stand up in front of people and do talks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've grown up a bit since then, and actually managed to talk myself into doing a near 1,000-person webinar the other night. So I'm improving.
Excellent. So how did S Media come about then?
Well, originally we were a full service agency before COVID, and we'd been discussing it for a while, the fact that it's a bit of a merry-go-round, when you take on clients. And I suppose the problem comes where you're not as good as you could be at certain disciplines, or you're spreading yourself too thin, or you haven't got a member of staff that fits a certain job, or people move backwards and forwards, and or clients' expectations are, maybe
unrealistic.
Not what. Yeah. And clients come and go, and we got to the point, and this is the same for every marketing agency, I would imagine. You're getting a client, losing a client, get another two. It's one step forward, one step back. And I wrote a system which I call IDAR, which is intelligence-driven ad results, which is I've had a Google Ads account for 20 years, and we wanted to automate parts of that. Lots of people do automate parts, but we started testing out things on YouTube, and we've had a lot of success on display, applied the same logic to YouTube, and it was like a revelation. It was amazing. The results were off the scale, and we really couldn't believe what was happening. And going away from doing just pure PPC, SEO, making videos, it was like we tried to combine all of these things into YouTube, and it was like the absolute perfect business for us was just to look, this is what is working, let's focus. And in focusing and the creation of S Media, that sort of led us to a lot more clients, a lot more people, a lot more success, and actually being able to deliver on the expectation of the client a lot more.
Yeah.
So where do you fit into this then, Andy? Because obviously you say your background is all ads, so
he's just along for the ride. Like, no. He does. We've got a fundamental belief that, and we do use the phrase unadvertising, but with video, the way it's going, we want to be able to create videos on YouTube as ads that are not ads, and they are standout, because you do see a load of ads that are just ads now. And I think social is changing massively, and there's a really big opportunity to be different, and that's where Andy's helping a lot of clients.
Yeah, I think I think creativity has changed a lot, but a lot of the principles behind understanding your customers, having some understanding, and creating ideas, or people call it content, that resonate with people has always been the case. It's never changed. What I was taught years ago by people who were far better than me, and they were taught by some absolute geniuses of the industry, fundamentally nothing's really changed. What YouTube allows you to do, though, is to reach people in a really, really good way, but it still involves all the classic marketing techniques, when creativity is one of them. And we talk to a lot about the strategies, clients about the strategies, about the creativity, how they have an empathy with the client, the customers, and build emotional selling propositions and all those things. We talk a lot about that in the book as well. And as I said, the marketing world is full of data and numbers now, but it still needs creativity. So you do need both sides of the coin, and when you make it works really well.
The thing is, I mean, we're bombarded by ads, aren't we? I think the last thing I saw, it said we see about 5,000 ads a day.
Minimum.
Yeah. So, trying to cut across that, all the different platforms are all just chucking stuff at you. I work with the marketing students, and I very often say to them, how many ads do you think you've seen today? And they'll go, I don't know. Yeah. So what made you stop? What was it about that one that you actually clicked on that made you do it? And so trying to get across that and trying to break through all of that, it's a mammoth task, isn't it? I mean, the noise out there is incredible. When we look at YouTube, I mean, I'll put my user shoes on for a minute. So I'm, watching a video on how to do something, and suddenly another advert pops in the middle of it, right at the crucial point. It absolutely drives me bonkers. And there's no way I'm ever going to click on that product, because it's irritated the heck out of me. So how are you going to get around that?
It's about engagement. So the driver with Google at the moment is engagement. And if you don't pay attention to the ad, it's not really going to, obviously, or you ignore it, you skip it, it'll learn. And they're trying to find, obviously, the better content will now rise to the top, because it has to be engaging. Gone are the days where you can use like stock footage, robot voices, engineered content to just try and get in front of people. Yes, there's still a lot of people doing that, but it will be, and people obviously say content is king, it'll be the standout pieces that grab your attention and actually are different, that makes all the difference, that gets people to stick and then pay attention. We have used ads where we've done them as what we would call a pattern interrupt, where somebody is watching a particular topic, and we'll serve what we think is something very similar to what they are currently consuming, but just a bit better production, better hook, not an ad again. So you can jump from one piece of content to another, and then based on how much of that you watch. So for example, if you watch 3/4 of that video and it might be 10, 15 minutes long, then the next one I can show you, once you've bought into the brand, that's when I might go for a bit of a sell, or come and find out a bit more, but not just, we're going to move away from here's an ad. I think you're right. I personally don't click. I should be clicking these ads, but I personally can't remember the last time I clicked a YouTube ad. But it does work.
But Simon, there's a couple of things. One is, as Simon said, a lot of those ads are badly targeted, and that comes down to understanding. And I bang on about this all the time. And there's a piece in the book about putting yourself in your customer's shoes. If we understand what the customers are like and what the pain points are and what the needs are and the fears and all those things, then there's a relevance and an understanding and an empathy with those people. And that's what I think a lot of marketeers miss is, well, what does Andy Price, what's his life like? What is he like? Yeah. And then we create those ideas that are going to engage with me. So let's say, for example, walking boots. We know I'll have been on websites looking for a new pair of walking boots. So we know that. Google knows that. That helps us target me. It also knows I'm interested in the outdoors. It also knows I've got an interest and an intent to buy because I've been looking and I've added stuff to basket. We know all that. Now, when I get served an ad for a pair of walking boots, I might not click on it, but I know it's relevant because it's interested in me. But actually, there's times when I might not have clicked on the ad, but I've gone and visited the website at a later time because I am interested, and I did buy a pair of walking boots. Now, the problem is, I hear a lot of people say, well, the ads bug me. That's because it's been targeted bad and you're not actually interested. And that is the difference. We work really hard at getting that right walking boots ad in front of the people who are interested in walking boots at the right time. And that's basically
the people who don't target their ads properly, and Google will charge you far, far more to put that ad in front of a broader audience, because Google's absolute interest in YouTube, they don't want people watching stuff they don't want to see. They don't want people saying what you've just said, Taryn. It's annoying me, because the risk to Google is, or YouTube, they go off somewhere else and don't bother using the platform anymore. So if you get that targeting right, and it is just a walking boot advert in front of somebody who was looking on Go Outdoors yesterday and not a month ago, then they may well they will pay attention far more than they would do, and they won't be annoyed. So that's what the cost of the ad will then consequently be far lower. Yeah. And if you're doing it properly, you get the cheaper ads, you get the better results, you don't annoy people, and you do it properly.
But let's not give too much away here, chaps.
Yeah.
Right, so you've led me nicely. You've walked me nicely into two things. Firstly, I'm sorry, Simon, I thought you were the nerd, but now Andy telling me about his walking boots, I realise I was wrong. Secondly, so refollow. Now, obviously, that's going to be changing quite considerably with the changes that Apple are making on their devices. So how's that going to work, do you think?
What, in terms of being able to target people?
Yeah.
Well, part of the book, without again giving too much of it away, is about how they're changing the cohorts and the way that they're going to market to people. Personally, I believe it is, they're all saying that they're going to be far more careful with your data. They're going to protect you. They're going to, not keep too much personal information. And if we actually believe that, it's like this is the wolf in sheep's clothing completely. they are going to carry on harvesting as much data as they can. Why do things like WhatsApp exist? Okay, yes, Facebook are saying they're going to be more, they're going to guard your data and give you better privacy, but all the time they're listening to you on WhatsApp. And, if you start saying certain words with WhatsApp on, you will see ads popping up. Andy and I were sat in the car talking about which new car we wanted to get. And lo and behold, half an hour later, he starts getting ads for that car that he's literally never, ever searched for before. So
actually, it was the one you were talking about, Simon, that you were thinking of getting in the app on my Facebook feed.
But you had your phone in the car at that point.
I had my phone in the car, but it was Simon that was saying it. And we have so many instances with family, friends and colleagues who have experienced this, and we just laugh and go, yeah. You've been listened to.
So moving away from the insidiousness, TikTok versus YouTube.
TikTok versus YouTube. Both. The best method at the moment is to combine the two. So we're finding a lot of people that want to drive through TikTok, they are then leading people to longer form content on YouTube, on their YouTube channels, only for the fact that, your YouTube content can be much obviously longer form, but is there forever, but yeah, the both work really well together. TikTok's struggling, I think, really with its monetization and the way to drive B2B, but influencer wise, obviously it's massive.
Yeah, I mean, so I've only just recently kind of jumped on it. You saw I actually created my first video yesterday for you guys. I think I should get a huge pat on the head for that, because I TikToked, woohoo, go me, and there wasn't a dance video in sight. So I'm looking at it, and the algorithms on that to me are fascinating, and they're lightning fast. Do you think, sort of in comparison, maybe because YouTube and Google are working together, that it's slightly more clunky, or are they kind of keeping up?
I think you'll find that YouTube's reason for being in existence is more to do with protecting Google from the answer engines. So Alexa, Siri, Cortana, etc. Google is massively worried that in 5 or 10 years' time, we don't search using Google. We will search using Alexa the way things are going. Not that it can give you a great answer at the moment, but that's what Google's using video for, really. In terms of targeting, I think their objective is to usurp Netflix. They want to be able to serve you content, video content, and that's where they're going in a direction. I don't think they want to see themselves as, they do YouTube shorts. The targeting is there. It's just, I don't know that enough people, there's all different segments of society using both. So, it'd be interesting to see how it plays out with the younger generation using TikTok probably more, but the longer form of content sitting on YouTube.
Yeah, I would say both my kids who are 18 and 21 are always on TikTok, but they're also on YouTube an awful lot as well.
Yeah.
And you watch Netflix and Amazon, but they certainly ain't watching TV.
No.
Really rare. And they're not massively into Facebook either. So I think every generation is going through different formats and finds new things. My mother, she's on Facebook, and she hardly watches TV herself. She watches everything through her iPad on Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, stuff like that. And she's 73. So it is a changing world. And I think, yeah, TikTok's definitely got a place. How it's all going to flesh out, if you think back to when Facebook started and everything else, they've all evolved. So where they'll go, I don't think anybody can really predict, because I think it'll be driven by the users.
I think the brand ads on TikTok, they can be so much more creative. So I say I've been spending the last few weeks just watching what's going on, seeing who's doing what, and some of the bigger brands have nailed it. It's like everything, isn't it? They have a really good creative team, and they've got it, and they hit the right point. Others are relying on influencers or encouraging influencers to talk about their brand, and I think it'll be fascinating to see how that develops. But what I have found is there's so many really short how-to videos on there, which, you know, I know a friend of mine, her daughter uses it for her maths homework, somebody else uses it for makeup tutorials and things like that. But it's just that really quick, tiny piece of information, you know, it might be 3 minutes. And I'm finding that, you know, people's attention span is so much shorter. So that really quick chunk of information is all they can kind of take on board.
Yeah, and the combination of the two, but leading people onto YouTube. Obviously the thing with YouTube is it's backed by Google and then coming up in Google search. So, you know, I've done SEO for 25 years and literally video is the most exciting development in the SEO industry right now. And I can't believe that SEO agencies aren't employing video as much as they should be, because they should be using TikTok, they should be using YouTube, because like with your example of the how-to videos, if you do the two and you combine TikTok, YouTube, and you get the engagement, so the engagement is everything, good quality video and getting people to comment, like, share, watch again, that results in those videos popping up in main Google. And this is where Google, in that exact example, how to do this. Now, if you ask how to an answer engine, it can't necessarily give you a good answer at the moment. It'll give you probably a more factual answer. How Google moves that forward, that's my interest, is how does Google now say, right, I'm going to give you, Taryn, the right answer that you expect. Simon might have asked exactly the same question, but expected a different answer or wanted a different product. Now, that's how they're using video to discern how much you and I watch of a particular answer. Now, in your TikTok scenario, if 49-year-old guys are particularly watching this particular answer, that answer can get served up to somebody in the future. The question is, though, do we move to voice search or do we move to video search? And I personally believe we'll go video search first, eventually voice search, or a combination of the two. And the example I've given in the book is the film Minority Report, where Tom Cruise is walking through the airport and all of the ads are changing along the screens as he's walking through to match him. And we're already in that scenario. So voice, video, combination of everything, different types of consumers, different choice of social platform. Yes, it'd be amazing to see how it all plays out.
And there'll be another newfangled thing come out in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
There'll always be a new shiny new media channel, always.
So it's interesting, Andy, that you say we're still looking at the fundamentals. You know, nothing's changed. It's all about making sure that you actually understand what it is your customer wants, and you give it to them in a way that they're going to best receive it. And that, you know, it doesn't matter how we do advertise, whether it's been TV ads, whether it's been radio ads, whether it's been magazine, the whole lot, it's all been the same. And the ones that have been successful and the ones that you remember are the ones that have actually thought about who it is they're distributing to. So what's your current tip? Yeah, what would you say is the best way today to actually kind of grasp hold of your audience?
I would say by being creative, but based on truth. So there's a really famous quote, and it is in the book, so I don't want to say it. You got to buy the book, but it's by a guy called Bill Bernbach, who set one of the best agency networks up. He's a great copywriter, and I've worked at a lot of very good agencies over the years and with some amazing people. Creativity for creativity's sake, no.
Yeah.
But equally, don't be boring. If you're going to create something, you've got to do it for the right reasons. And if you do that right, you win every time. And we don't always get it right in our industry, of course we don't. But if it's creative and it's to the right people in the right way and it's based on truth, yeah, it wins every time.
Well, and what do you say to people that go, I can't afford to have all the setup and, you know, can't afford to employ a video guy? What would you say to them?
Well, I've got a client who started out on a £5 a day budget, and she's doing fantastically well. Has got tens of thousands of subscribers, gets leads every single day, and she's grown from spending £5 a day to hundreds of pounds a day. So but you can take it one step at a time, and it's all about obviously just getting a return on that investment, becoming confident, and then scaling it. And once you can do that, you can just up the budget, keep going. It will give you X return for Y investment. It just becomes a numbers game at that point.
Yeah, and I also think because YouTube is more of an authentic platform, it's where people are going to find something out or whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be Steven Spielberg standard. I think it's context again and understanding who your customers are and the marketplace that you're in. But we work with clients who literally film on a mobile phone, really in the houses, and the quality is not amazing, but because what they're talking about, it's context again, and then it's targeted to the right people. The people are not bothered. Equally, that wouldn't be right if you're a fashion brand that's trying to look really, really good. Yeah. So it's horses for courses. So I would say to anybody, and again, we touch it in the book, and we've got a course that's coming out. You just need to think about who you're talking to, your marketplace, but you can do things really cheap. The one thing that we get a lot of clients say, they overthink, and I had this with a really big global brand yesterday, you can overthink the whole process and the creative process and the production values. And we talk about unadd ads, and actually what you need to do is just crack on with it and have a go. Unlike a TV commercial that's going to be seen by millions of people and cost a fortune and all this stuff, with YouTube, you can bang something out and try it quite cost effectively. So don't have the fear, just, give things a whirl, have a go.
So what's next for you guys? Now you've done your book. What's next?
We have got the call.
Now that we've come out of probably the worst 18 months I'd imagine most businesses have had, we're getting loads more inquiries now, hopefully, across the world as well. So we are opening up in other territories. We are actively looking to work with other people in different countries. We're already in the US and Italy. But yeah, I don't know what else Andy would say to that.
Well, the course, we've developed the course that should be coming out in the next couple of months, which is a really, really good course for marketeers and the teams on how to use YouTube. So I think there's a QR code on the back of the book that eventually you can access the course. There you go. Thank you. It's not quite ready yet because it's 180 videos. It's really in depth. So we're just finishing all that off at the moment. We're involved in building communities on YouTube in a specialist way, and other things going on in the pipeline with other projects, all based around YouTube. So yeah, we're sort of very busy with things and lots of stuff going on. And I'm not sure I'll write another book. Although you never know, we might end up. So
when this is an absolute global bestseller, you'll be saying to me, Taryn, I think we need to do another one. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, okay. We hope. Yeah, we hope.
Well, so if someone was going to buy this, who would you say should be buying this book?
Well, anyone who's in marketing, anyone who's aspiring to be in marketing, anyone who just wants a bit of a laugh about two old gits who've been in the advertising industry for a long time, but some good stuff in there. And we've got a long old history in it, and hopefully we've tried to make some of it funny.
Andy, anybody else? Your mum, obviously.
Your mum.
I think people, students in education, I think it'll give you an interesting insight. I think anybody working in marketing, advertising, digital, I think even business owners who are going, I'm on Facebook, what do I do next? Or what's the next best place for me to get to? I think anybody who runs a business, really. I think it'd be interesting for you to read in the wider marketing perspective, and hopefully you'll pick up some tips about how to think about promoting your brand. So anybody in business, anybody in marketing, anybody in education looking to get into business or marketing. Quite a lot of people.
Well, it is available. It's out now. It is available from all good bookstores. It's available online, digital and physical copies. So get yourself a copy if you're in marketing. It genuinely is a good book. And I'm not just saying that because I published it. So, chaps, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been brilliant. I wish you all the best for the course, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Taryn, for your help. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Taryn. See you later.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.